Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are embarking on a truly monumental journey, a sweeping, epic saga spanning centuries of triumph, tragedy, innovation, and revolution. We're looking at the story of a nation. It's a grand tapestry woven from the lives of millions, the sudden rise and dramatic fall of empires, and the relentless, echoing march of human progress. We are, of course, talking about the history of America. So, prepare yourselves, clear your minds, and get ready for an expansive look into the very fabric of this incredibly grand narrative.
Okay, let's dive into this, because right off the bat, we are faced with an almost insurmountable question. How do you possibly summarize the entire history of a nation in just 8 words? I mean, really think about it. Think about the sheer volume of events, the declarations, the wars, the huge technological leaps, and the massive cultural shifts. Distilling all of that down to a phrase you could literally fit on a tiny sticky note seems completely impossible, doesn't it? But believe it or not, that is exactly what our source material for today's explainer attempts to do.
Now, before we unveil this absolute masterclass in brevity, let's quickly ground ourselves on what exactly an excerpt is. An excerpt is meant to be a carefully selected fragment. It's designed to give you the absolute essence, the core flavor of a much larger body of work. So, as we prepare to look at this specific excerpt regarding the history of America, let that anticipation build. What absolutely crucial moment, what foundational truth has been hand-picked from the historical archives for us to analyze today? Well, hold on to that anticipation, because 8 is not a date, it's not a century, and it's definitely not a population ranking. 8 is the exact number of words contained in our entire source material today. Just 8 single words to convey the staggering weight of American history. I mean, it takes a really bold, audacious author to look at hundreds of years of complex human civilization and decide, yep, I can capture all of this in less time than it takes to clear my throat. Let's look at this monumental 8-word excerpt.
Excerpts from History of America. History of America. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is, that's it. That is literally the whole thing. It is quite literally just the title, repeated twice with the word excerpts thrown in at the front. We geared up for this massive, sweeping documentary analysis, and our foundational text is basically just the front cover of the book. There are no dates, there are no presidents, there's not even a single verb to be found. It is an absolute masterclass in giving us absolutely nothing while initially promising everything. Let's just take a second to process this, because the contrast here is honestly pretty staggering. On one side, we have our viewer expectations, right? A comprehensive history. We were ready for deep dives into centuries of complex human events, monumental shifts, sweeping national narratives. And on the other side, the provided source material, just the title. It's kind of like showing up to a 5-course gourmet dinner and the waiter simply hands you a beautifully printed menu, nods, and walks away forever. The gap between what we anticipated and what we actually received is literally as vast as the country itself. I know exactly what you're asking yourself right now. Is that really it? Did I seriously tune into this explainer just to have the host enthusiastically read a title card to me? Believe me, I checked the margins, I flipped the digital pages, I even looked for invisible ink in the source code. But yes, my friends, that is truly it. The grand sweeping narrative we were promised was abruptly cut short before the opening credits even finished rolling. So the crucial point is, the number of actual historical events provided in our source text today is a big, round, magnificent 0. 0 battles fought, 0 laws passed, 0 technological breakthroughs mentioned whatsoever. By providing us with an excerpt that contains absolutely no content, the author has inadvertently created the most peaceful, undisputed, and universally agreed-upon version of history ever published. Because let's face it, you simply cannot argue with a blank page.
But, let's look at this from another perspective, maybe a slightly more profound one. And this brilliantly illustrates a really beautiful truth. An empty history book actually represents a powerful blank canvas. By giving us nothing but the title, the source material forces us to recognize that history isn't just a static, dusty list of things that happened a long time ago. It's an ongoing, highly active project. The text stops at the title because the rest is unwritten. It reminds us that the story is still happening, every single day, all around us, and the ink is very much still wet.
Which brings us to the ultimate takeaway for you today. If the pages are blank and the excerpts are empty, the responsibility shifts entirely from the historian directly to the individual. What history will you write? You see, you aren't just a passive reader of this grand narrative. You are an active participant, and author of the very next chapter. So as you leave this explainer today, take that blank canvas and do something incredible with it. Fill those pages. Thanks so much for joining me, and I absolutely cannot wait to see what you create.